So I would like to invite Omar S.K. Drammeh. If you are around, Omar. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a singular honor and privilege to be accorded this singular honor and also another privilege to deliver, should I say, a presentation or a lecture on the Islamic education in the Gambia. On this August gathering, we have poetry, that means Islamic poetry is being celebrated. The topic is a vast topic, but since I'm given 10 minutes to speak, I will try my best to summarize the poem. To start with, we understand Islam begins in Saudi Arabia in the 7th century with the coming of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From Saudi Arabia, Islam spread its tentacles, reaching the African continent. During the lifetime of the Prophet and during the lifetime of the Sahabas. We understand during the Prophet's lifetime, Abyssinia, which is present-day Ethiopia, was the first state to be hospitable to the Muslim. When the Arab and Mexicans were hostile to Islam, the birthplace of the Prophet, the African or blacks, welcome the Muslims and give them a very happy destination until Arabia become hospitable to Islam. That was when they came back. During the time of Caliph Omar ibn al-Khattab, we understand he sent his general Amir ibn As, who conquered Egypt, and after the conquest of Egypt, that's the Maghreb, Islam started to flow in Maghreb land. This period coincided with the trans-Saharan slave trade. When we say trans-Saharan slave trade, it means the trade that occurred between the North African, who were on the northern part of the Sahara, and the West African, who were on the southern part of the Sahara. So this trade was not only made for good, but also led to the coming of Islam. So Islam dated back as early as the 10th century. At least by 950, the ruler of Tegrul, which is in present-day Upper Senegal region, was said to convert to Islam. From hence on, Islam flowed to all parts of the Senegambia region. So, Islam introduction through the Saharan trade started from the 8th century of course, and we say it came along where the Berbers were trading. To quote my favorite scholar, the late Professor Suleiman Yang, he did says, when these traders came along their trade activities, whenever it was time for prayers, they would stop everything, call the Azan, and start the prayers. While they pray with utmost devotion and attention, the African traders and king pay attention to them. And now the questions start to linger in their mind. They start to ask, who is the God that these white people are worshipping? This God must be a true God to deserve maximum attention and total devotion. That was when they start to ask the traders about Islam. It wasn't the other way around. Islam was not forced on the West African and Senegambia region in particular. It was the Senegambians who were particular and asked about Islam, and then the Arabs started to talk about Islam. Now, one thing we have to understand, if I'm to follow the story done by Thiago M. Mota about Islam in Senegambia region, he was able to at least use Spencer Tremangan thesis, which classify the development of Islam in 3 phases. One of the phases of Islam was Islam during the trading period, Islam of the traders. The second one means Islam in the court, and the third one was the massification of Islam through jihad. And this was when the Fuller revival movement carried out jihads, starting from Futa Toro, Futa Jalon, and later on Futa Bundu. And this will also come over the Gambia River region in the 19th century. But to start with, the most celebrated and renowned scholar of Timbuktu, Ahmed Baba, who lived between 1564 to 1627, said to have a personal library containing some 1,600 volumes. And his library was the smallest in his family. Here we talk about Ahmed Baba. At the height of the Timbuktu as a world-renowned center, Ahmed Baba was the world's most celebrated scholar. He wrote 1,600 volumes, and throughout his family, his volumes were the smallest. So this demonstrates the high taste of knowledge within West Africa. And when we talk about Timbuktu, is Mali. And Mali is the home to many ethnic groups who presently occupy the Gambia. And going further, in a lecture, the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, once says, if Timbuktu, he says this, Timbuktu contribution to African education. He said, if the University of Sankore had not been destroyed, if the University of Sankore, as it was in 1591, had survived the ravage of foreign invasion, the Islamic and cultural history of Africa might have been different from what is today. We are in a period where we think that education is everything foreign. We believe that Islamic education is just recent. We believe that education itself was brought by the European. But here do you know that one of the most renowned universities was first in West Africa, and the most respected scholar was also a West African from Mali. This is something that we must reflect on. Going further, in fact, because of the well-development of Islam in Timbuktu, there was this saying. They always say, if you want silver, go to the land of the white man. If you want salt, go to the northeast, the Arab. But if you want knowledge, you can always have it here, and here I mean Timbuktu. That was a demonstration. That shows that West African value education, and then knowledge was a competition. Then scholars, to come to the ustasis, their pillows and their beds were not mattresses, but it was books. That was the prestige. Just like people now have prestige on building beautiful houses, having fanciful cars, and iPhone 14 or 15 Pro Max. To them, there are those things realized on books. Here, and then we says, this is not an overstatement, it is collaborated by area citation. The desire for the acquisition of knowledge was felt by one of the supposed saints of the Holy Prophet. The Holy Prophet, in one of his says, seek knowledge as far as China. And this particular hadith sank deep in the heart of Senegambian at early as the 15th and 16th century. Therefore, we say this afternoon, of course, we will look at some aspect of Islamic development around the Gambia River region. Sometimes, you have to excuse me, being a historian, we are very particular about this. We cannot call Gambia as a country beyond 1903. Whenever we want to talk about Gambia beyond that, it has to be an area around the Gambia River region, because Gambia is just about 103 years old. So this period, there was no country called Gambia, no country called Senegal, but we rather call it Senegambia region. Now, in 1456, this was the first time, of course, Europeans entered the upper Gambia River. Diego Gomez, who was a Portuguese, reported the presence of foreign Muslims in Nyomi at the northern shore of the Gambia River. That is when the Portuguese first arrived. The time of their arrival, they met Islam at the coast. At least they saw some foreign Muslims, that is either Mauritanian or Moroccans, who were in Nyomi. And this signifies the presence of Islam in the Gambia at that particular time. Now we say hence Manikas and Wolof Muslim preachers live according to the Sharia, Islamic law, and taught Islam to the people. Here we are in a country that we call ourselves 95% Muslim. Yet again, we want to be secular. But some 500 years ago, those rulers who were converted to Islam were living by the Sharia and other Islamic laws. So therefore we say, after the first foreign preachers, Islam spread on the Atlantic coast through the work of local agents. After the coming of these Arab and Berbers, they spread Islam. We also have local agents who are very instrumental in the spread of Islam. Quranic education has been regarded as a key feature of Islamic political and religious expansion and consolidation. From the 16th century, the spread of Quranic school in the greater Gambia fostered jihad as the religious education gave Islamic scholars, jurists and preachers the theoretical and intellectual tools to interpret the Sharia. The Quran was used to teach and learn writing and to spread religion to the public beyond those who could read through public readings as Alvarez described. The books played a central role in this process. And again, not only those who were literate, but even those who could not read and write, Islamic poetry played a very important role. Some of those scholars depended on Islamic poetry, where they both in Arabic and also in our national languages, to ensure that people hear the true message of Islam. Another example, between 1592 and 1594, Almeida points the existence of a few blacks considered to be religious, called the Baxin, who wrote on paper and books of a quarter and a half C. The English trader Richard Johnson stated in 1623 that these religious people have great books, all manuscripts of their region. In the middle of the 17th century, the Calvadian Francisco de Lemos Celso reported the high demand for paper in the town of Gambia River. 20 reams were spent a day, adding up to 10,000 seeds sold daily, and all these papers were used on writing. At the Gambia River, that is in Bintan, in the Gambia River southern shore, Celso noted the presence of literate Muslims, many of whom practiced law. He remarked that the region was inhabited by Maninka, all being Mohammedan, meaning Muslim, including those seated in the law, whom they call Baksirin. They are scholars or bishops, whom they call Fodes. Now you have to understand, Fodes is equivalent to master's title or master degree. We are telling you here now, around the 15th century, we have people in the Gambia here who were accorded master's degree in Islamic education. So that is a big plus. It is true but that the time have just elapsed. Just wanted to run a quick educational system of the Jahake, which was very well structured with a well-developed curriculum. But since Islam in discipline, we are going to be very disciplined this time by cutting it here in order to respect time. Thank you.